Update 1 on Typhoon Danas, which is currently located to the southeast of the Japanese Ryukyu Islands, that's Okinawa, Amami and the Daito Islands more particularly right now, with winds of 120 miles per hour and a pressure of 944 millibars, that's category 3 intensity. Positions 24.0 degrees north, 131.6 degrees east, which will sit just south of the Daito Islands in Japan. The storm is expected to move towards the northwest, possibly becoming a category 4 storm as it passes very close to Okinawa and then eventually weakening, but still could make landfall along the Japanese mainland as a category 2 storm. Gale advisories in effect for Okinawa and Amami Islands as well as parts of Kyushu right now. More warnings expected to come into effect for southern parts of Japan very soon indeed as the storm heads towards the north, and could be coming into effect for Korea as well, South Korea, as the storm approaches that region too. We'll see what happens. The probability percentages of tropical storm conditions in the next 96 hours currently pictured here. 90% in Okinawa right now, 80% in Amami and Daito Islands right now, and high percentages in southern Kyushu as well. Typhoon conditions as well, fairly moderate, significant chances of typhoon conditions occurring, especially in the Daito Islands and Okinawa in particular in the next 24 hours. We could be seeing some strong typhoon conditions in both those regions. So right now this is the current sea surface temperature situation. You can see how the 26 degrees Celsius band stretches all the way up to the northern Pacific near the Japanese Kyushu island. So until the storm passes that, it will be conducive for further development, and you can see how it passes very quickly on the models. The Danas forming towards the north, passing very quickly in between South Korea and Japan, then moving off to the northeast according to the CMC model, with 2 new storms forming behind that. The GFS model is fairly similar as well, with another storm forming behind that, a very intense one by the looks of things, as it moves towards the Philippines. And also of note as well, 90W, Invest 90W, moving onto the other side of Thailand and Myanmar, moving out into the North Indian Ocean as a storm. So the latest satellite image, then you can see how the eye's been looking fairly well defined over the past few hours, looking even better in those last few frames as it moves towards those islands. Those islands in particular, you can see the Daito Islands are very small ones just north of the storm's eye, and Okinawa, which is the much larger one, over towards the in between both those storms, Fito and Danas right now. So it's a little bit of a uncomfortable situation over there at the moment in between 2 storms. But Danas moving towards the northwest, you can see how that movement's been fairly clear and pronounced over the past few hours. And you see a little bit of red extending towards the left-hand side of the storm, towards the west, where all the intense thunderstorms and showers were a little bit lacking recently, but is starting to build upon that western side as well now, which could mean bad news for Okinawa because it's expected to pass just to the east. So as of right now, October the 6th at 8 o'clock UTC PM, Tropical Depression 14E has formed in the eastern Pacific just in the past hour or two. The remnants of Karen are still going near Louisiana. Invest 90W in the western Pacific, of course. That, as I said, could develop into a tropical storm in the Indian Ocean. We also have Tropical Storm Vito, which is beginning to weaken now as it moves inland over China, just making landfall at the moment. Obviously, we have Typhoon Danas and Invest 99W, which is out near the international dateline and has a low chance of development. So right now we're up to 20 tropical storms in 2013, 8 typhoons, and this is now the 4th typhoon this year to reach category 3 intensity. That's wind speeds of 115 miles per hour or more. It's the 64th busiest season on record. Now, that's not really saying much because there's only about 70 or so on record in the western Pacific at the moment, but still it's climbing up the table ever so slowly. You can also find the latest information on this storm at the website, force13.com. This is what the current page looks like for this storm in particular, but we do updates on every other storm out there in between these video updates, so you can track any storm at force13.com/stormtracking.html. That's the main page for it, where you're presented with the overview map which shows where the storms are, including invest and post-tropical storms as well, with tables at the top and bottom showing the intensities and indeed any warnings that are currently in effect on the same screen. Obviously we have quite a lot of warnings in effect for both of the Pacific storms at the moment. Vito, what's left of it, starting to weaken now over China. There was a red typhoon warning. I'm not sure if that's still in effect, but still nonetheless typhoon conditions could be possible there, certainly typhoon gusts. And obviously over this side as well in Japan, gale advisories in effect could be upgraded to storm warnings very soon, especially in Okinawa and perhaps the Daito Islands. Elsewhere on the web, we're on Facebook and Twitter, to search Force 13. on either of those mediums, you should find us fairly easily enough. And as always, please do show your support by doing the usual means of engagement, by liking, subscribing, commenting, favoriting, following, or indeed anything else that you may be able to think of. And if you have any comments or questions about this current storm, please do ask away on the YouTube comments page or by private message if you so wish, and I'll do my best to get back to you. But until the next update on this storm, which will probably follow at about 3 PM UTC tomorrow, that's Monday the 7th of October, that's all for now.